welcome back to my channel. I definitely want to start this video by saying that the money saving process is not a one-size-fits-all thing. Everyone has different circumstances and life situations, so what works for one person may not work for another. However, I have received countless messages from you guys asking how I was able to save up the money to move over here to London from the States, as well as just general money saving tips. So I've decided to finally share exactly how I've been saving up money since graduating from undergrad in 2014. Since graduating from university, I have pretty much just been a saver. My mom pretty much doubles as my financial coach, so she's just been encouraging my brother and I to save like ever since I can remember. She forced me to open up my 401k, which is my retirement savings. I want to say like the second week that I had been at my first career job. I remember being so upset about having $200 each month taken out of my checks, okay, that already weren't that big, to go to these savings that I wasn't even going to see for like another 30 years or so. But of course, you know, I understand the importance of it now. But at the time, I was like 22 and just like, I want all the money that I make. I want it all. I don't want to save any of it. I understood that it would pay off in the long run, and that's how my savings journey kind of started to begin. When I first started saving, I don't know exactly what I was saving for. Probably just for an apartment so that I could move out of my parents' house. I definitely didn't think that I was saving to move abroad. That was probably like the furthest idea in my mind. But I just kept saving and saving and saving. So before I had even decided that I was moving to London, I had a pretty good chunk of savings in my bank account. However, once I made that decision, I set a personal goal for myself to save at least $11,000 more before I moved to London, which was 6 months from the day that I set that goal. And I did it. So let's just get into how I've been saving over the last few years. Once again, this is my story, my experience, but I'm sure there's going to be some people that can relate out there or maybe apply what I did to their own lives. So just keep that in mind. Number one, probably the main reason why I was able to start this big savings journey in the first place is moving back home after graduating university. When I was a senior at Hampton University in 2013, 2014, I really had it set in my mind that I was going to be moving to New York City and beginning my career there. I had it all planned out in my head. It was going to be amazing and wonderful. And then I went home for break. I believe it was like Christmas break. My mom sat me down and wanted to have a talk with me as usual. And she pretty much just heavily encouraged me to move back home after graduation. She explained that the next best gift that she could give me alongside my college education was to allow me to come home and live rent-free so that I could begin building my savings. Once again, at the time, I was annoyed, but I understood, and of course, I really respect and always take into consideration her advice. So I ended up listening, and I know that living at home rent-free was the biggest contributor to me being able to save as much as I did. Rent in Chicago is not cheap, so I saved a lot of money not paying rent and bills. But I understand that it's not possible for everyone to go back home after graduation, and everybody just has different situations. But whenever people ask for my opinion, I just say, if you have the opportunity to move home after graduation, do it. Even if you don't stay that long or stay as long as I did, stay for a little while and just allow yourself to build up that savings. You know what I mean? Like, it's nothing like having an emergency fund before you go and leap out into the real world. Like, really leap out there, you know? So if someone is offering you that opportunity, please consider it. Please consider it. Number two was to have a dedicated savings goal. So since I was living at home rent-free, I was able to set this goal for myself to save one check a month and spend one check a month. So I was getting paid bi-weekly, so that means twice a month. And I would take one entire check and put it into my savings account. I would not touch it at all. And I would use the other check to buy things that I needed, gas, food, leisure activities, whatever. And whatever I had left over, I would add that to my savings account too. And that honestly worked out for me for a while, and it allowed me to build my savings fairly quickly. Next on my list is to live a frugal life. Easier said than done, I know. I have just never really been a frivolous spender. I'm a pretty thrifty girl, as most of you guys know. I love shopping at thrift stores. I love when I don't have to pay full price for something. I love discount codes, all of that. So yeah, some of those little ways that I found that I was saving, you know, extra money here and there were just like meal prepping and bringing my own lunch instead of buying one at work. Like I said, thrifting, saving money on clothes, painting my own nails, which has just become something that I really enjoy doing. And coupons. I love a good discount code, like I said before. Of course, doing these things aren't gonna like double your savings overnight or anything, but they're just little ways to help save a little extra coin, which could never hurt, you know? The next one is kind of random, but refinancing my car helped me save a lot of money. I told y'all I'm pretty frugal, I'm pretty, you know, chill when it comes to spending money, but we all make our mistakes. So one of my biggest buying mistakes of my 20s was buying a very, very high maintenance Volkswagen hardtop convertible. I thought I was cute. I had my first big girl job and I was like, I'm gonna buy myself a nice car. And it was just a very unnecessary purchase. It wasn't the smartest thing to do, you know? Looking back on it now, I realized that. It had a very high car note, high interest, high maintenance costs. Even the gas was expensive for that car because I had to get like premium gas. It was a lot. And I barely even put the top down. I remember I was complaining to my friends one day about how much I was paying for this car. And one of them recommended that I look into refinancing it. And this is another reason why I highly encourage people to talk to their friends more about money. Like, I don't know why it's such a taboo subject sometimes. Like, we don't want to talk about our salaries. We don't want to talk about how much we're paying for things. When we should really be sharing this knowledge and comparing and making sure we're doing the right things out here. So, yeah. Anyways, I didn't even know what refinancing was. But I ended up doing that, and I ended up refinancing the car with my bank, which was Bank of America, and I got my car note down $150 less a month, okay? Oh my gosh, I was so happy. I was so happy. But even after doing that, that car was still way too expensive. I was living way above my means trying to maintain that car. And I think I ended up like taking it in to get serviced, and they were trying to tell me I had to pay for all of these repairs and just all this random stuff, and it cost more because they were foreign parts, because Volkswagen is German or whatever. I was over it. So I decided that I was going to trade my car in to CarMax and get a car that was more affordable, that made more sense for me, for my life, you know what I mean? So I ended up trading that Volkswagen in for a Jeep. So I ended up with a newer model car, way lower monthly payments. But mind you, when I was making these car purchases, I did have to dip into my savings a little bit. So the savings will fluctuate. Sometimes it's up, sometimes it's down, because you're going to have things that come up in your life and things you have to handle and pay for. So I paid like a $5,000 deposit on both cars, both of those times. And also at this point, I was not able to save a check, spend a check anymore. But I still made it a point to try to save at least $500 from each check. So I had to keep up with the savings. I wasn't going to stop the savings, but I had to adjust a bit because I had a bill. Next on my list is having multiple streams of income. Because sometimes in order to save more money, you need to make more money. June 2018 was the first time I ever received a check from YouTube. Thank the Lord. And while I was still working at my 9-to-5, I never spent my YouTube checks. They went straight into the savings. So that was my side hustle. But I know that you guys are super duper talented out there. You probably have all these types of talents that you could tap into and make your own little side hustle. And I mean, it's a shame that we have to have like another job on top of our jobs, but it's hard out here, y'all. I mean, if you can make a little extra money on the side, you gotta do what you gotta do. I also would sell clothes on Poshmark. I sold quite a few pairs of Dr. Martin boots that I wasn't wearing and made a cute little coin off of that. I actually had an Instagram thrift store at one point because I had such a thrifting addiction. My closet was starting to run over, so I started selling the clothes on there. There's so many things you can do in this digital world these days. At one point I was doing like market research interviews, and you would get like $150 to $200 for doing those and just sitting in and doing a focus group. And yeah, y'all, if you want the money, you gotta go get it. I was doing it all, y'all. I was doing it all just to add some extra money to my bank account. And last on my list, I got very strict. So like I said, my savings have definitely gone up and down throughout the years, with purchasing 2 cars, purchasing a new MacBook, vlogging cameras, investments for sure, but definitely, you know, little hits to my savings account. But you gotta do what you gotta do. When I officially decided that I was gonna be moving to London, I became even more strict and dedicated when it came to saving. And I really did this because I had like 6 months. I had a really short time frame. So I needed to put the savings process in like full gear. I made no big major purchases. I canceled a vacation that I had planned with my friends from college, and they ended up just coming to Chicago instead and hanging out with me there. I sold my car, my baby. I miss my Jeep so much. I was determined to reach my goal, and I hit it. This allowed me to feel even more at ease during this big move because I knew that I could financially support myself. It's already enough stress to be leaving everything behind and moving abroad, and you don't want to add that extra stress on yourself when it comes to money and trying to figure out how you're going to be able to take care of yourself, especially when you're so far away from your family and friends. So yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Those are the ways that I have been building my savings since 2014. Like I said, saving is not one size fits all. You have to do what's best for you, but it does take a very conscious effort at the same time. Moving to and living in London is not cheap, so I highly recommend taking the time that you need to build your savings to a point where you feel comfortable and know that you can take care of yourself once you get over here. Even if you're just moving to another state or another city, it's always good to have that cushion. If you're interested in learning exactly how much it costs to move abroad to London and to study here, I made a video like a month or 2 ago breaking it all down, providing numbers and everything. So definitely check that one out if you haven't already. As always, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to give me a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!